Here we go. And I already know what you're thinking. Whoa, Matt, she just got her leg cut off. You're right. Good job. Here's a sticker. Aha, psych. No. I never thought I'd be doing a video on Star Wars, which one's the best video game out of all of them. And it got me thinking the other day. I had to sit down and, play a couple of them. And so I spent some time and figured out 3 games which offered the greatest experience for me and my friends. Now, this excludes any of the single-player experiences. This is strictly only split screen and or multiplayer. Star Wars Jedi Outcast. What a game this was. The free-for-all mode across all the maps was sublime. With a mixture of blasters and lightsaber battles, this game ranks high on the list for replay value. I played this mostly with my brother. I did play it online, and this game offered a lot more than what you would typically find when you're playing Battlefront, like the heroes or villains. In this game, Jedi had lightsabers that would actually cut limbs off your opponent. Maybe next time. There was more emphasis on force and force abilities, as in you had the option to pick what force abilities you wanted to buff, what force abilities you didn't want to use. You could literally change them in-game. You could have all these different kind of force abilities rather than just limiting yourself to a character with 2 force abilities like the newer Star Wars games are only offering in the multiplayer style. You can change your fighting style mid-game. I like that. You can do light, you can do middle, or medium, I should say, heavy, that kind of stuff, like heavy swinging. Like, you don't have that in any of the more modern Star Wars games. Next, the ability to change your lightsaber colors. This makes it more personal. Having that ability to change your lightsaber to the lightsaber color you like. And I think people like the base characters, the base movie characters, and that kind of stuff. But we also like we might also like having our own characters. You can play a bunch of different characters in multiplayer. There's no lightsaber stun lock like you'd see in the recent Star Wars Battlefront games, which I find really strange. In this game, you can kind of just both hack and slash, which I honestly think that it should be that way, instead of just being able to hit somebody and then they get pushed back every time you hit them. Again, this game ranks very high on my replay value for multiplayer and split screen experiences. It's very nostalgic, and it honestly felt really refreshing after not playing it for probably over 10 years. Which also brings me into our next game, Star Wars The Clone Wars. But let me tell you guys, I could not figure out how to play this game on the PC. I have this game on GameCube, but I really don't want to get my GameCube out, dust it off, get the controller set up. I don't even know where my controllers are, and play this game. Couldn't even record. I could not figure that out. But just so you know, if there's anybody trying to be like, oh, you're trying to use an emulator, I have bought the game. I actually think I bought it twice, and I can't play. Why is it so hard to play this game? This is such a good Star Wars game. Now that I look back at it, this probably had one of the greatest co-op experiences. Having to drive your tank around with your friend or brother was absolutely amazing in co-op, or going up against each other in conquest mode, where you'd have to essentially kill off the enemy's bases in order to win. Furthermore, you'd take over outposts to gain more offensive power, that kind of stuff. Also, it had a mode where you'd fight off waves of enemies. This game mode was called Academy, where you would test your skills against the entire Confederate army in waves, which probably was my favorite game mode in this game, Academy mode.
Red player has been defeated.
The game actually had a Jedi mode where you could go on the ground and act as Jedis. In the arena, as you saw in Star Wars The Clone Wars movie, the battle in the arena, it was the beginning of the initial first battle of Geonosis, the arena where they were tied up and Count Dooku and all of them were watching them. All in all, the game modes where you'd have to basically team up side by side, back to back in these game modes where you have to go through waves of enemies. I thought that was so much fun. We'd get into such high rounds, and it honestly was such a great feeling back then. And I don't think any of the Star Wars games have really replicated that with multiplayer. But we'll see. And this is how you kill an AT-ST.
Bye.
Take out your ion torpedo. Next, lock on. After that, you successfully killed an AT-ST. I feel like they need more rounds though in this if they ever do this again.
Some of them have more.
The final game, which I think today is probably one of the best game modes and games that ever come out in the Star Wars saga. Battlefront Conquest mode. Battlefront 2 to be specific. In short, Battlefront Conquest mode offered a galaxy map where you control some of it. Your enemy does too. Basically, you go around the galaxy conquering these planets. You could buy bonuses like health boosts, increased weapon damage, or guaranteed a hero in your next battle if you had enough money. If you met an enemy fleet in space, you would engage in a space battle as well. Wow. I cannot believe none of the newer Star Wars games have replicated this. This game mode hit every single pillar in a split screen experience. I think it should have been multiplayer. I still hope, you know, someday it could be multiplayer. Game also included space battles to defending your own planet on the ground, to fighting, you know, your enemy and their planet on their turf. I mean, it is just phenomenal to be able to go across this entire map. Experience, you know, strategy when you're looking at the map, actual fighting or something. So, all in all, Battlefront Conquest mode is my favorite multiplayer split screen game mode out there. I wish, you know, hope someday they can replicate this game mode, because it honestly hit all the pillars of strategy, space fighting, Jedi, blasting people, all that kind of stuff. I'm actually really go into it. Battlefront Conquest mode, my favorite game mode. That went well. Good job. Way to use your ticket.